At some point in life, we stop becoming ourselves and become the versions which gets validated by the external sources. The version people actually approve of, the version our friends love to hang out with, the version our parents are proud of, the version our colleagues at office and at workplace love to say, oh my god, that person is so cool. Sooner or later, we realize that we have actually lost ourselves. When was the time we thought about something and felt like this is something I want or this is something that I do not want? We eventually lose ourselves. And there comes a point when you realize that all you do is just smile without your eyes actually crinkling. You're saying yes to plans you're not even interested in or don't even have the willpower to go to. Why? Because you're afraid of not pleasing people. You're afraid of what people might say, the opinion they might form of you if you disagree with them. So, my question to you is, are you actually living your life or just playing a part in everybody else's life or being a character in somebody else's play? At some point in life, you realize that you have stopped becoming yourself and you have become the version everybody else actually validates and approves. The version your school friends love, the version your peers actually love to hang out with and call cool. The version of yourself your parents are proud of. The version of yourself the friends cannot ever let go because you are just so awesome. You're the life of the party. But sooner or later, you will realize you have lost yourself. When was the last time you did something for yourself? When was the time you actually smiled because you genuinely wanted to and not because people were around? When was the last time you actually said no to a plan because you were exhausted? Let me think. You can't think of a single instance, right? It's because we have actually stopped living our lives and we have started doing what others expect us to be. So today's question of the video is, are we actually living our lives or are we just existing and playing a part in somebody else's life? Why are we not the main character of our own life? Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, The Navya Studios. And today, we're going to talk about the price of adulthood, the price of actually being there for everybody. Take it from someone who is a big people pleaser, the one who actually pretends to be bold and not care about others' opinions, loves to get herself validated by her friends, by her manager, by her teacher, and everybody in her life. When we were kids, we used to dream of having a life which is independent, which is full of freedom. That is the adulting. Now that we are adults, we realize that we have the freedom, we have the independence, but it all comes with a big stress, with a big cost. That cost is pressure. The pressure of doing well at work, the pressure of being the coolest person in the group, the pressure of always being the coolest person there. Sooner or later, you realize that this all pressure is very external and it has actually taken over your life. Every decision of yours is consumed and overthought about with just one thinking, what will the people think of me? If you're trying to put up an opinion, the first thought that will come to your head is, will my manager like it or will she think that I am being too bold about it? If you want to say no to a plan, the first thought that comes to your head is, what will my friends think? Will they call me again as somebody who always cancels plan? Even though I'm super tired, I'm super exhausted to go. Sooner or later, we realize that our life has become an amalgamation of these memories, of these decisions that we take. Eventually, we lose ourselves. We lose the versions we love about ourselves, and we are just one shell of a human being who exists to please everybody else. But what about our thoughts? What about our feelings? What about our individuality? What do we like and what do we not like? That is when you realize that you have actually lost yourself. Why? Because you gave in to the pressure, you gave in to the expectations of what everybody else wanted from you rather than the expectations of what you had for yourself. Eventually, now that we have actually lost ourselves, we realize that we are tired. We are tired of being that one reliable friend everybody knows that they can go to whenever they want. We are tired of being that one employee who will always get the job done because they never learned how to say no. We become that person who everybody else adores, everybody else loves because they're always there. But what about the person you love? That is yourself. Doing this for the people will actually make you exhausted, and sooner or later you will realize that you are tired of the life that you are living. And you are tired of, standing up for everybody else and not yourself. You are tired of everybody's expectations of you, and you are exhausted. You don't want to live that life anymore. Sooner or later you realize that you resent yourself because you don't have a backbone. You cannot stand up for yourself, and honestly that is the worst thing you can do to yourself, to the person you love the most. Popular quote which says, when you start living for others, you abandon the most important person in your life, and that is you. Now that we have realized that living like this is tiring, being a reliable friend, a reliable employee, a reliable colleague is exhausting because you don't have an individuality. You are just somebody who loves to please everybody at the cost of their own self. So, what do? We learn to become selfish. We learn to live for ourselves. We learn and we live to please ourselves, to love ourselves. Now, don't get me wrong. It is very easy to say to just leave everything and do what you feel like. It is very difficult because we are human beings. We are social animals. We have to live around people 24/7. It is exhausting, but you have to realize it is draining you. You have to take yourself first. Somebody told me a very long time back, and it's a lesson I will always carry with my heart. That person told me, you can only help other people if your cup is full. Think of yourself as a vessel, as a cup. What you have in the cup is what you have it in yourself. If your cup is empty, it is depleted, you cannot pour into other cups because you don't have anything, and ultimately you are of no use. But if your cup has ample amount and you give that and you deplete that amount to give it to somebody else, you made the other mug full. They're completely full. They might be overflowing, but you get depleted once again. So, how do we balance it? We overflow our own cup. That means we overflow our mug until it actually is too much for us, and that is when we give others. So that once we actually give the contents of one mug to the other mug, the other person is happy. At the same time, our mug is also fulfilled. That happens. That also matters in real life as well. You cannot help other people. You cannot be there for other people if you're not there for yourself. If you are tired, if you are exhausted by your own self, how do you expect to be that person everybody else loves? I mean, we all want to be that person, because I will be wrong if I say that we can be the kind of a person who has that attitude where they do not want people in their life. That is a false narrative. Everybody wants friends. Everybody likes to be adored by their managers. But you have to realize we need to learn how to draw boundaries. Drawing boundaries may not be easy. It may sometimes not give you the promotion that you've always wanted. It may slow down the rate of your success. But at what cost? The cost of you. You will be happier. You will be content with the decisions you made. Why? Because you did it for yourself, not for the others. Not because that is what others expected you to do. You did it because you wanted to do it. Real confidence is actually choosing yourself over and over and over again when people don't understand you. Trust me, it takes real courage. There can be hundreds of people who will be questioning your every decision, your every move. They will not be happy. There might be chances that there's not a single person who is happy with your decision, but that has to be okay if you're happy for it. If you did it for yourself, if you did it because you wanted to do it. Because we have to realize nobody is going to be there for us except ourselves. Nobody is going to come tomorrow and tell us, "Oh my god, you have always been there for every dinner plan. You must be so exhausted." None of your colleagues are going to come to you tomorrow and say, "You have always been doing so much work for us. Let us help you get your work done." I'm sorry, but that is the harsh truth of life. Nobody thinks of anybody else except themselves. And that is why you have to learn how to become selfish. You have to learn how to draw the boundary, and you have to learn how to protect your peace. I'm not saying being there for yourself is the easiest job in the world. It is the toughest, because people might actually hate you for the decisions you make for yourself. You might find yourself very lonely because you feel like you don't have any friends. You might find yourself not getting that promotion because you said no to some office colleagues. But you have to realize that is okay. You have to realize that it might be sad, it might be devastating, but ultimately you're doing this for yourself. None of the external factors, as I've always said, matters. The only person that matters is you. Are you happy with the version of yourself standing there in the mirror in front of you today? Are you happy with the fact that you say yes to constantly to everybody, even though you're exhausted, you're tired, you want to go home and rest? You have to decide if you are actually happy with that version of yourself. Healing and out becoming the person that you are takes time. It will take a lot of time, a lot of efforts, because trust me, drawing a boundary is not easy. It is the most difficult thing one can do for themselves if they're the people pleaser like me. But you have to realize real growth actually begins with that. Real growth begins when you start. Before making any decision, you do not ask the question, what will XYZ person think of me? But you actually think of, what will I think of that? Will I love it? Will I hate it? Will I be exhausted? Will I not be exhausted? When you start asking the right questions to yourself, you realize that you're actually going on a path where you will not care about what the other people think except yourself. Trust me, you will live a better life. You will live a full life filled with fulfillment and with happy memories, because you cannot make everybody else happy if you're not happy yourself. Ultimately, you have to decide, are you going to be the person everybody else relies on, everybody loves, adores, but you hate them from the core? Are you going to be the person everybody may or may not like? I'm saying may or may not like, because you might find people who actually encourage you to be yourself. In that case, that is wonderful for you. But the always forever goal has to be that you have to love yourself. I know it is difficult, but we will get through it. Because trust me, it's not just you who is figuring out the life, who is navigating the life all by yourself. In this channel, that is what we are here for. We are here to grow together, to learn together, and ultimately become the best version of ourselves. So, learn to say no if you don't want it. That's it. That's all I have to say. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, bye bye. Take care of yourself, and remember, do it for yourself. Love yourself, and the world will adjust. Bye.